What's up, my people? It's your guy, Dynamix, and I'm here with another episode of Boss Reactions. Yes, we're here with episode 2 right now. We just did the first episode a couple days ago. I decided to go ahead and bring some more episodes. Tonight, I'm going to drop Slapped Ham, which is a YouTuber who does a lot of paranormal videos, and also another guy called MrBallen. He's also a very popular YouTuber as well. He deals with a lot of missing persons, and he also does paranormal stories as well. He also wrote his own book. If you ever check out Mr. Ballin's YouTube channel, definitely look at his book. He's a book writer. He's pretty good. Okay, so with that being said, if you have any questions about the merch, as always, if you want a hat made, we can get that done as well. Just make sure you send all that donation strength right over to my boy right here. Just look at the link in the description below. My man's right here, Son Goku. He can use all that donation energy. He trying to get to 100,000 so he can defeat Frieza. You know what I'm saying? So definitely. So he wants to grow the channel and he wants to grow a spirit bomb as big as possible. So definitely go ahead and check out my Cash App, and the Cash App information is also down below. And let me stop talking. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the second episode of Boss Reactions.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some supernatural security footage no one can quite explain. So hit that subscribe button and get ready for more mysterious content, just like this.
Slapped Ham, let's go. Let's go. What you got for us today?
Uploaded to ReactZ4's YouTube channel in September 2012, this footage, taken from several surveillance cameras at a nursing home, shows something very chilling indeed. On one camera feed, we can see an object suddenly appear near the arm of one of the chairs. Oddly, there's no break or glitch in the video feed, which tends to suggest that the video footage has not been edited in any way. According to several viewers, they believe that the object looks like a cane, one that possibly belonged to a deceased resident of the nursing home who might be still lingering there in the afterlife. Just moments after the cane appears near the chair, it suddenly flies out of the room, and its movement is captured by a different camera as it lands on the floor near an elevator.
Boom. And then show it.
Many staff members,
Whoa, the
residents,
cane
and
just flew out
guests
there.
seem to pass
Hold
by
on.
without even noticing it.
Are you serious?
Eventually, someone...
So, the cane flew out in the middle of the hall by itself. Now, I don't know if this is real. Honestly, the cane literally flew. It just slid out there. How we know that, someone out of view didn't just just slide the cane out there. Just, oh, a ghost did it. Spirit of an old woman, old man, whatever. It's just like, come on, no.
One picks it up and leans it against the wall. Then, shortly after two people are seen getting into the elevator, the cane mysteriously disappears, just as suddenly as it appeared, blinking out of existence without a trace.
It's still there. What do you? Okay, hold on.
This is
That could have been a camera cut. That literally could have been a camera cut. It was no one walking in the hallway. Not gonna understand if someone was walking past, right? And I saw the cane disappear while the person was walking in the footage. But look at this. I mean, literally, like, the cane disappeared and no one was in the hallway. That could have been a cut. That's an edit. Come on. You don't think CCTV gets edited? Come on.
certainly a very strange video and one that can't easily be explained. What could be responsible for the cane's bizarre movements? Could it be the result of something supernatural? Or is there something else going on here? Love to hear what you think about this mysterious piece of footage in the comments section below.
Fakery. They in the bakery, whipping up fakery.
This bizarre video was uploaded to SCOS's YouTube
I wonder if
channel
security
in
was
December
behind that.
2014. It appears to be an excerpt taken from a security camera captured in an unknown location. At first, several orb-like objects go speeding by the camera. And while these could easily be dismissed as insects, it's what the camera captures next that is truly strange. Several white figures begin running along the outside of the fence.
What is that?
Then suddenly, a few of the figures leap over the fence
What?
and
Okay, that
land
was weird.
motionless on the ground.
That was weird. It looked like they tossed him over the side.
Some viewers have suggested that the strange shapes are actually deer.
What was that?
However, the way they land after jumping the fence seems to rule this theory out.
I don't know.
They
That could be
appear
fake.
still and lifeless,
Somebody could be
almost
down in the
as if
bushes
they're
right there.
deflated.
Somebody could be in the bushes right there.
Just when you think that the video couldn't get any weirder, a long trail of light appears at the top of the screen.
I don't know. Nah. That's fake.
This is truly one of the
That's
more
fakery.
bizarre videos we've ever seen.
That
Could
can't
it
be real.
possible
That's
that
not
the
real.
mysterious white
That's
figures
fake.
are
Come on.
ghosts or some other type of supernatural entities? If anyone can shed any light
I
on
can't.
this
This
video,
looks
I'd
so
love to hear
weird.
what you think in the comments section below.
It looked like someone tossed it over. Like someone tossed him over the
Twitter
fence.
user Conspiration ESP
I
uploaded
don't
this
know.
terrifying footage
I've never
captured
seen
by
that one before.
CCTV camera. A bizarre figure has visited this residence late one night,
What
and
the?
it has viewers seriously questioning their perception.
Hold up. Okay, was that a person walking on all four right there? They trying to call that a demon? Well, it probably is a possessed person that has a demon in it, but I don't think that's a demon. That's a human being. Look.
Of
Look at this.
reality. In
Look at this.
scary recordings captured from a variety of
That's
cameras,
a person.
we see a creepy person or creature running on all fours around the property.
That was a person.
The camera never captures close-ups of the figure, but it appears to be a cross between a human and a dog.
That is a human being that is on drugs. That is a drug user right there. If you've never seen a drug user whacked out of their head before, that's what they look like. They look just like this.
The entity moves on all fours like a canine, but
That's why you don't do drugs.
when it comes closer to the camera, its body appears to be that of a human. Its
It is a
skin
human.
is hairless and pale, but its head seems to be darker
Hairless
in
and pale.
colour.
That was a person that's naked running around on
Because of the
drugs.
appearance of the creature's body, some are apt to believe that it's simply a human running naked through the night on all fours.
Oh, really? Duh.
However, the way it moves seems to rule out that possibility. The human body is built to walk upright, and no human could easily run with such speed and agility on all fours.
They're on drugs. That's why they're able to do that, Slapped
There are
Ham.
other, eerier possibilities that explain these scary recordings. Perhaps this is a human, but one possessed by some sort of animalistic demon.
Yeah, he possessed alright.
Another possibility is that the recordings show a lesser-known cryptid called the Dogman. This creature, much like a werewolf, is a cross between a human and a canine. Unlike werewolves, dogmen live permanently in their in-between state. Over the years, there have been numerous sightings of the so-called Dogman. Although witnesses have been terrified by the encounters, none have been harmed by this elusive cryptid. So whatever theory you believe, human, dogman or demon, they're all just as terrifying as each other. Love to get your thoughts on this one in the comments section below.
Well, it ain't no dog man or nothing like that. That's definitely a human being. That's a human being.
This video, uploaded to Reddit by user Lazy Ray Scallion, is some truly freaky footage. Depicting an empty conference room late at night, the room is nearly completely empty. That is, except for one apparently dedicated presence committed to showing up in spite of it being after hours. The angle at which the camera is positioned allows viewers to see a lone shadowy figure appear in one of the doorways.
Oh, I see it. It's in the back
The
over there.
humanoid shadow figure
Shadow's in the
deliberately
back.
makes its way from one end of the room to the other, disappearing when it reaches the door on the opposite end. Making its way round Reddit, the footage has since gained some serious attention on the site, with even professedly skeptical users concerned at not being able to debunk the footage. What can at times be explained away as a camera malfunction seems not to be occurring here. Rather, we're left with a puzzling piece of footage that has left most viewers unsettled, unable to explain the figure's presence. YouTuber Aloha Treasures wasn't expecting to capture any ghost videos when she set up security cameras around her home. Unfortunately, a
might
bizarre
have been real, by the
shadow
way.
has her questioning how safe her home really is, sending her to the internet for answers. The YouTuber has multiple CCTV cameras set up inside and outside her home. When watching the footage of her living room one day, she noticed something odd, a human-shaped shadow peeking in through the doorway.
It's a thief. That's a
The
thief.
shadow pops in a few times, standing out in stark contrast to the white door, before fading away.
Okay. So what's paranormal about that? Someone stood in front of the door. What's paranormal about that?
No trace of a person casting the shadow ever appears. On the first 2 appearances, the shadow is indistinct. It appears to be human in shape, but it's hard to make out a defined silhouette.
The other cameras are on pause. They pause the other cameras. I have the same security system. I know exactly how this
On
works.
its final appearance, the shadow becomes more defined and seems to raise its arm to point at something toward the ceiling.
Okay.
After that, it fades away for good.
This is a good little trick they pulled right here.
Don't you ever come back?
In the video, the homeowner doesn't seem sure whether she's looking at a ghost or the shadow of a real person. However, none of the other cameras provide any
it's a person out
evidence
of
of an
view.
intruder entering or exiting the home. If a person had broken into the house, it would have been difficult to evade all of the camera feeds.
Fakery.
This has led the homeowner to believe that she is in fact dealing with a
serious
spiritual
fakery right
entity.
here.
You better go.
Right. Right.
In this piece of creepy footage, 2 men are sleeping. They seem somewhat restless and are shifting their arms and legs around.
This looks familiar. I think I've seen this before.
Since sleep is a time for the brain to relax, some experts have suggested that humans may be able to sense paranormal activity more easily in this state. 50 seconds into the recording, the dorm room door opens up. It appears to open on its own because there's no one there.
Okay. Alright. It's looking authentic so far.
20 seconds later, something barely visible enters the room. Viewers may notice a slight shift in the image. After a few more seconds pass, the legs of the man who is closest to the camera start to lift.
Okay. Alright, I don't see any strings.
The initial lift doesn't wake him up. He starts to stir awake as he's yanked toward the end of the bed, with his legs being pulled up into the dorm room ceiling.
What the Okay, now, I don't know. This is kind of real. This might be real.
As his legs are being lifted high enough for him to almost be in a headstand, the man realizes that he's being hoisted up.
Oh, he
and starts
literally
to
almost
fight
lifted him
whatever it is
like
that's pulling him along.
vertical. That's crazy.
The spirit almost succeeds in pulling him entirely off the bed, but at the last moment, it releases him.
Oh, man.
The boy sits up and looks towards the open door. He seems confused as he searches for whatever it was that lifted him up. He then gets up and walks out into the hallway, likely searching for a human culprit. However, it seems it was
I don't know. That looked kind of real. I don't think that's fake.
His rest.
I don't think that's fake. That looked like it's real. Yeah,
This
I don't know.
unsettling video was posted to the New South
If that was
Wales
fake, that was real
Australia
good.
Police
I don't know
Force's
how they did
Facebook
that.
page in April 2018. After discovering that a garage door at the station had been opened, police reviewed the CCTV footage to see what had happened. To their surprise, the video shows the garage door opening all by itself. When the door is about halfway...
Wait, hold on. How are you going to say the garage door opened all by itself like they don't have remote control garage doors? The fakery is just over 100 right now. I already see that this is already a fake video. The garage door opened by itself? Really? Like someone couldn't just beep, open the garage door? Come on. Fakery. Already.
Way up, a broom is pushed out. It stays upright, leaning against the wall for a few seconds before falling to the ground. If you watch the footage in slow motion, you can see that the broom is not being held by anyone.
All right, that was pretty good. If that was fake, that was good.
The ground for a moment before coming to rest against the wall.
The broom flew out there and sat against the wall like a Disney movie.
From
Just
the CCTV of a police station, many believe it to be genuine evidence of the supernatural. What do you think? Is this really the work of a ghost, or could there be another explanation?
I don't know. That's really good. No, I don't know. That could have been real.
This eerie piece of
That was
footage was
Casper
uploaded to
doing
YouTube
his
by
normal cleaning,
Compo
you know?
back in May of 2014.
Be friendly,
The
you know? So friendly
CCTV
people do
camera
the
shows a
cleaning, you know?
parking
And
lot
everything. I
in an
take care of your
unknown
car, wash your car, you
location.
know?
Before long, a
Cook you
car is
breakfast. That's
seen
Casper.
exiting the car park. Watch what happens.
What? Wait,
As you can see,
was there a
some kind
shadow?
of dark figure appears to pass right
I think I
through the
saw a
car.
shadow. I don't
The
know.
vehicle slams on its brakes and the driver hops out to investigate. They look around, but there's no one there. They even inspect the car for damage, but find nothing.
I mean, it looked kind of legit. I mean, like I said, if it was fake, I mean, they
A
did a good
second
job.
passenger exits the vehicle and begins searching as
You know, because you got to realize that this footage right here is CCTV. Like, this is security camera footage right here. You know, and the fact that they had somehow got people to set up a car coming down, hitting a shadow person, and then the shadow person vanishing, and then they get all this footage from CCTV. I mean, that would have to be like an inside job if it was a prank or like, you know, fakery for people to eat up, you know, and think that it's real. So, um, you know, I don't eat fakery. You know what I'm saying? I see the fakery, I call it out. You know what I'm saying? They bake that up somewhere. I don't know where the bakery at. It's somewhere hidden, but they be in there cooking up and hooking up and whipping up the fakery all day long, all night. You have no idea. Okay. They do it for the views. Okay, so this look authentic.
well. As this happens, the driver seems to pick up something off the road. It's hard to tell what it is, but the driver discards it back onto the pavement. They enter the car and drive away.
Okay, what is that thing?
So
I don't
what did we
understand.
just witness? The driver and passenger clearly saw the same black figure we did, but what is it? Some have called it a shadow person, a paranormal entity that is famous for lurking in people's periphery. However, it's rare to see one so clearly on camera.
Now do have a story where I've seen one of these apparitions before. You know, they like to hang out in like the woods and like like a few like maybe like a few years ago, I used to spend a lot of time traveling through the woods. You know, out in Virginia. So I used to be out there like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because of my job. I worked you know, overnights, and I would get off sometime like in the middle of the night. So I would like had a mountain bike, so I would ride my mountain bike home, and I would cut through the woods because it was a shortcut faster to my house. So I would go through the woods, and I would hear things all the time. It was not an issue, but one time I did see one of those shadow apparitions, and it was out in the field when I came over a hill one time, and it saw me, right, and then it like ran, and then when it ran like 60 feet into some bushes. Now, mind you, from the point that I saw it at, and when it saw me, and from the point that it crossed 60 feet and went into some bushes, it was 2 seconds. I never seen something move so fast. It moved from where it was at, it turned, looked at me, and just ran into some bushes. It covered 60 feet in 2 seconds. And it was weird because its upper body wasn't moving. It was like just the legs were. It was like just the legs were moving. It was so weird. I was like, what was that? Yeah, weirdest thing ever. Yeah.
As always, love to get your thoughts on this one in the comments section below.
Yeah, that's freaky. Could be real.
When Redditor Londo Lance set up a CCTV security camera outside their house, they weren't really expecting to capture any paranormal activity. When something strange popped up in the footage late one night, they were at a loss to explain it. The video clip shows a deck in the backyard of the house and was filmed sometime between 2 and 4 in the morning. The camera only switches on when it detects motion. After a few seconds, it becomes clear what triggered the camera, a strange figure lurking on the deck. Because of its distance from the camera, it's hard to make out exactly what the figure looks like. Some viewers have suggested a small girl in a fairy dress floating above the ground, or perhaps an arm holding some sort of bag.
I don't know what that
Whatever
is.
the entity is, it only lingers for a few seconds before hastily moving into the house.
I don't know.
According to the Redditor, the
camera
spot where
too
the figure
potato. I can't tell.
disappears is a sliding glass door leading to the kitchen. They insist that the door's never left open at night, so for the figure to move the way it does, it would have to have moved straight through a glass door. Some viewers
I
have
don't know.
suggested that it could just be a glitch in the video, but others believe that the clip clearly depicts some sort of strange entity. Unless the figure returns to provide more video evidence, details about this bizarre paranormal activity remain a mystery.
Yeah, that could have been real.
The M Vegas Styles YouTube channel posts many different types of
Ah,
videos, from tech
PlayStation
help
4
to
VR.
parodies and even
Yeah,
skits. However,
I
they
got one of
never
those.
seem to post any paranormal footage, and that's what makes this clip extra creepy.
Okay.
In 2016, the channel posted this video entitled, "Why You Need Security Cameras." They had apparently been notified that several people had been lurking around their house, so they
Oh,
decided to set up a security camera to see if they could
planning
catch
a
the
robbery.
culprits in action.
Thieveries. I hate
Sure
thieves.
enough, the camera did show several teens in the area, however nothing ever seemed to come of it. Then, 2 years later, the same security camera captured this mysterious video as one of the residents of the house pulled up to the garage in their car.
Gay Rod.
As
She
you
called
can
it the
see,
Gay
there's
Rod.
something wrong with the footage. It's
Pull
all
up to the Gay Rod.
pixelated and half of the screen is green.
Oh my god, the potato footage is so real.
As the car enters the garage, a figure can be seen walking along the sidewalk towards the house. The footage remains blurry as the figure passes, then, for a split second, it clears up, revealing something truly terrifying. The figure appears to be wearing a long black coat with a white collar and has a
What?
small pale head.
What is he wearing?
One viewer compared the figure to that of a 17th century plague doctor. Others suggested it looked more like the Slender Man, the supernatural being thought to have originated on the Something Awful
Slender Man.
forums back in 2009.
Slender Man
The
became such a big
commentator
hit.
of the
That's
video
crazy.
mentions
Can't believe
that the
Slender
figure
Man came
could
that
have
big.
been a witch of some sort. He says that he recently replaced the camera's batteries and that he checked the footage the following day and it had returned to normal. If this was the case, could it have been the figure that caused the strange camera glitch in an attempt to hide its true identity?
Now, I have heard that before. I heard in a lot of paranormal cases and like UFO cases as well that whenever these entities come within I should say eyesight of or a sight of an actual camera, it's like the camera gets distorted, like the footage distorts itself, or they make it distort itself, and then once they're out of range of being seen by the camera or out of line sight of the camera, the footage goes back to normal. So I have heard that in a lot of cases. So I don't know if that's the case here. I mean, this guy does look weird. I mean, look at it. What is he like? 7 foot tall? Like, I don't even think that dude is like a normal height. Like, he has a small head and like these big shoulders. It's like he's in a fake bodysuit or something like that. Like, I don't know.
What do you think this security camera has captured? Is it really a witch, or is there another explanation for this mysterious figure's presence? Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments section below.
Yeah, that's weird.
According to Redditor, the Bat Chick, residents of the neighbourhood in Lesness Abbey Wood in Kent, UK are no strangers to scary recordings. The neighbourhood sits near the ruins of the old Lesness Abbey. Stories surrounding the ruins say the area is haunted by the ghost of a monk who used to be a resident of the abbey. The ruins are also said to be haunted by the spirit of a young girl. It's said that her heart was buried beneath the ruins of the old abbey for reasons unknown today.
Her heart.
Considering
heart
this
was
eerie
buried?
history of hauntings, it's unsurprising that numerous residents of the area have come forward with scary recordings of bizarre happenings around the neighbourhood. This particular video was recorded on a CCTV camera posted outside a house in the area. The video begins with a black and white shot of 2 cars parked in the driveway and a few trash bins scattered around. A few seconds into the video, one of the trash bins begins to slowly move forward in between the 2 cars.
Okay.
After a few slow stops and starts, the
Whoa.
bin gains momentum and rolls out into the street.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay.
Some who have seen the video believe that it can easily be explained by gravity. The bin has wheels, so if the driveway was uneven, the bin
You know
could
what it could
easily
be?
roll down.
That looks like a
However,
remote
others have
control
pointed
car
out
could
that
be
there
like
are only 2 wheels
under
on the
it. You
back
know what
of
I
the
mean?
bin. Trash bins are usually designed
Like it could be like a remote control car underneath like the bin, like you know, like one of those RC remote control cars, the serious heavy duty ones. Someone could have just taped that to the bottom of the trash can, and it's been sitting back like, and they knew the CCTV was right there, right, like the security footage, and just controlled the RC car and just made the bin look like it was getting pushed. Because you see how it goes a little bit, then it stops, and then it goes all the way, and then it turns a little bit. That's how RC cars move when you use a remote, like one of their remotes. You know, like it looks like someone's controlling it with a. They probably messed up the first few times until they got it right, and was like, "Oh, that's good footage. Yeah, let me take that. Let me post that on the internet and see how many views I'm gonna get. I'm gonna go viral with this video." Fakery.
so the weight of the contents will prevent it from rolling on its own. Others have pointed out that because the bin stops and starts
Yeah,
numerous
that's a remote
times
control
and
car
ends its roll by
underneath.
making a sharp turn, it couldn't be moving simply because of gravity.
Right, that's a human being adjusting his eyesight to see how he's going to turn that trash can. Yeah, it's a remote control car
Could one of the
underneath.
Abbey's mysterious ghosts be interfering with this
They in the
bin?
bakery, whipping up the fakery.
Here's some shocking footage that was uploaded to YouTube by Machiavelli Ilavacum way back in 2012. Some have called it a demon possession caught on camera. Take a look.
No, that's you didn't get your daily dose of cocaine. That's what that's called.
As you can see, the man in
Man.
the store begins to writhe about and shriek.
Come on, y'all know
This
he needs
goes
his
on
fix.
for some
Where
time,
the dealer
alarming
at, man?
the other
Why you got his boy
patrons.
out here like this? Going crazy.
While some
Look, he
viewers
like,
have called
go
this
call
a
my drug dealer.
seizure or some kind
Call
of
him right now.
medical episode, it's what happens at the end of the clip that makes the whole video that much more creepy. Let's take a look.
What the? See, he died. He didn't get his heroin needle fast enough. See?
A strange reflection passes on the glass
What's
of a
up with the two
refrigerator
boxes
to
that got
the
knocked
left.
over at the end?
Then several rolls of toilet paper inexplicably fall to the ground.
That's because he died.
It's
That's
these
his
telling
ghost.
details
That was the only
that have driven
paranormal thing that
thousands of
happened in this
viewers to
video.
call
The only paranormal thing that happened in this video was the fact that he died and his ghost knocked over the boxes. That's not funny. I'm sorry.
this a
That's not
demonic
funny.
possession caught on camera.
It might be fakery, or maybe he didn't die. Maybe this
But
is all
what do
hoax.
you
It
think?
could be fake.
Seizure or something far more sinister?
It does look like a
Let
seizure.
me know in the comments section below.
That looks like a seizure. Yeah. So yeah, he probably just had a seizure. Yeah. That last part was weird though. I don't know what the toilet paper falling off the
Posted
side.
by Reddit user Defend Aloha, the story behind this ghost footage, or lack thereof, is full of twists and turns. Coming home late one night, a young woman named Kimberly goes to tell her father that she's made it home safely. However, before she's able to successfully approach her father, Kimberly hears a strange noise coming from inside the house. Because of this, she decides to do a quick sweep of her own home in order to ensure there's nothing wrong. However, as she reaches the top level of her home, the home security system goes off and provides the family with an alert. As shown in the first screenshot uploaded to accompany the story, the security app sent a message to the family displaying, "Warning, an intrusion has been detected." The family moves to a safe part of the home while Kimberly's dad explores the house, seeing nothing off except for the wide open garage. As he checks the home, the security company calls him, to which he responds that they're not in any immediate danger. However, this is before the footage from the motion-activated security cameras
they must got
sent to
ADT.
him in
They got that
response to
ADT
the odd
security.
activity. The
24-hour
footage in question
surveillance.
has not been provided to accompany the tale, but for good reason. There's nothing visible except for an odd thumbnail. What sets this story apart from a potential home invasion is the odd paranormal effects surrounding the footage. The footage captured by the camera was supposedly completely pitch black. As explained in the post, there was quite literally nothing visible in the video.
Okay.
However, despite nothing showing up on the video's thumbnail is prevailingly creepy. Depicting a young woman hunched over, dressed entirely different to Kimberly herself or anyone else within the home, the image is haunting enough on its own. However, when paired with the fact that it was scrubbed from the actual footage captured by the camera, the entire fiasco screams potential paranormal activity.
Oh, wow.
The figure in the thumbnail looks to be bald, has a strange thin left arm,
That's
and appears
weird.
to be walking with a limp. Some have even said the figure looks like they're wearing a hospital gown.
I mean, it could be
In this
like one of their
case, the lack of
relatives.
footage is
I mean, it could be like one of their relatives who was just like, you know, decaying slowly because of like, you know, I don't know, maybe they have like a disease or something like that. And they just got like a slight picture of them and just say, oh, look at this. Like that family probably know who that is right there with that cane. That's great grandma Albie or some, you know what I'm saying? Like they know who it is. You know, it's Alba. You know what I'm saying? That's great grandma Alba right there. They know who it is. They go, oh, we're gonna make some views off of this. Let's put this on YouTube. We're gonna try to make this viral. Let's finish watching. I'm not gonna call it fakery just yet.
certainly mysterious. Yet it leaves us having to trust the Reddit user and take their word that the footage came up black. However, the haunting image of the strange figure standing in the home is certainly chilling, and for now will have to remain a mystery.
Look, and you can blur out the face and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, they could have easily set that up to where it
According
didn't
to
even
Instagram and
look
Terra
like
Prime,
that
there
was
could be
even the
some
case.
very
You know what I'm
scary
saying?
things lurking in the dark. This footage taken from a CCTV
All right, so
camera
the
shows a dim room
CCTV.
that
This
looks
is
like a
more
large
CCTV
kitchen
footage
or
right here with the
cafeteria.
security
At first, everything in
footage.
the room
Okay.
seems normal. However, that quickly changes when an abrupt flash of light appears near a closed door.
Whoa, what was
The
that?
flash of light briefly illuminates what appears to be a human figure. The figure is only visible for a moment before the room is once again plunged into darkness.
So it looks like a shadow is there for a second,
If
and
you
then the
watch
lighting
closely
comes
over the
behind the
next few
actual shadow.
seconds, the figure
I don't know
seems
if
to
it's a
stand and
lightning
move around
or what
behind the
that is
counter on the
exactly.
far side of the room. In the darkness, it appears as a white mist moving and writhing above the countertop.
Okay.
After a few seconds, the room is suddenly lit up by light once again, this time by the room's overhead lights. Once the lights are on, we can clearly see that the area near the counter is completely vacant. Whatever the strange white shadow was, it disappeared in the instant that it took for the light to come on. Moments later, a man walks into the room completely oblivious as to what's been happening mere seconds before.
Wait, but how did the man know? You telling
It's
me that?
unclear
Okay.
what exactly caused the strange white shadow depicted in the video, and what was the bizarre flash of light.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to call it fakery. I want to say that it's not fakery because of the fact that it is CCTV, and most security camera footage is just constant surveillance, you know. So you would have to gain access to this footage and then like edit it, you know, to make it look like it's something that it's not. But I would believe it and call it paranormal. But the only thing that kind of confuses me is how fast the security officer came out to search the area. Like I mean, come on, that thing was there for a split second, and the security officer just was like, "Oh, let me go check that shadow out." That wasn't there an alarm that went off, like a motion detector that went off. He just so happened to see that and be there like in 1 second to check the shadow. He saw that shadow for that split second. I don't know. I'm not saying he's not a good security. I'm just saying like his response time was incredible. I mean, I'm just saying that was an incredible response time. He was there like within 2-3 seconds. It's like I don't know.
Whatever the case may be, the suddenness in which it appeared and disappeared seems to indicate that the entity was far from human.
I see it moving right there. I mean, like he came kind of fast, you know. To check, I don't know.
Here's some CCTV footage taken in an unknown grocery store. It appears to have caught something truly eerie. Let's watch. The shopping trolley eerily wheels across the room.
Okay.
At first, it's easy to think that someone's just pushed it off camera. But it's when it turns and wheels up a ramp all on its own that things get even weirder.
I don't know. I don't get the vibe that that's like a ghost.
Some viewers think it's a hoax perpetrated by some string-pulling bandits off camera.
Yeah.
While this is possible, it'd be very hard to pull off, particularly when the cart turns and moves in another direction.
Not if you're good with strings. You know how to use strings well enough. You can
This would require
do a
several
lot.
pieces of string jutting out in different directions.
Right, exactly.
This is why many believe that a poltergeist is to blame for the movement. Poltergeists are powerful spirits said to possess the ability to interact with physical objects.
I don't know.
But what do you think? Stringy
Fakery.
bandits or poltergeist antics?
I'm calling fakery.
Let me know in the comments section below.
They in the bakery whipping up fakery. See all the food back there and all that? See, they in the bakery. The bakery in the back. You know what I'm saying? That's way in the back. They whipping up that fakery. Serving you real good fakery.
Footage taken back in October of 2013 at Jimmy's World Grill and Bar. It shows a woman finishing a meal, then getting up to pay. Once she leaves, something weird happens at her table. Take a look. First, the chair moves, seemingly all on its own.
No, the ghost just want to have a seat.
Then the
That's
menu
all.
slides by itself.
Right,
A
exactly.
napkin flings off the table.
You know, he had to wipe his hands off.
Finally, the plate flies violently off the table.
It was nasty food. The ghost ain't like it.
If you
Go
watch
serve him some real
closely,
food.
several patrons seem to notice the commotion. Is this genuine poltergeist activity caught on CCTV? Or is it all just a bit of camera trickery designed to drum up publicity? I'll leave that up to you to decide.
That means the restaurant would have to be in on it if that was the case. And that customer would have to be in on that. I don't know. Are people willing to go that far? Like, are people willing to go that far to get views on YouTube? Will they sit there and set up the whole, you know, co-worker staff and be like, hey, we're going to pretend like there's a ghost in the restaurant so we can get publicity for the restaurant and put it on the internet and go viral, you know? That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I don't know. Hold on. Let me check my phone real quick. Someone just texted me. All right, guys. Sorry about that. All right, so let's get back. Let's get this show rolling. I got some things I got to do today. Let's finish up this reaction video.
On this video.
Matter of fact, though, this is not the only one. I got something else after this one, so it's just going to be the first reaction video. I got another one after this to give you guys. But so far I've seen some good stuff. So I just want to see that real good video that just has me like it's so real. I'm just like, yo, that had to be a ghost. Like, everybody can attest that that's an actual ghost. Like, I want to see that.
However, it appears that it could have been taken from a warehouse security camera. The clip begins as a man is seen carrying a ladder past the camera. He returns a short time later with a trolley and opens the sliding doors to the warehouse. He enters and soon emerges with something on top of the trolley. The man then attempts to close the warehouse doors. However, he's unable to shut them completely. After several more unsuccessful attempts, the man decides to leave the doors ajar and pulls his trolley away.
Oh, really?
Suddenly, a passing car's headlights shine across the warehouse doors, revealing for a split second that there's actually something stuck between them.
Did you see that? What the? Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy.
At first, it appears to be a lifeless human, stooped over and wedged in place. However, if you slow the footage down, you can see that the figure is actually transparent and is only visible in the car's headlights.
Yo, if this is fake, that's some good editing right there. That's the best editing I've seen in a long time.
Is it the ghost of someone who was crushed between the heavy warehouse doors? Or is there another explanation for this creepy video?
Wait, how can he be crushed between the two heavy doors? It's the doors are not mechanical,
In 2014,
right? The doors aren't mechanical. So how would he be crushed by those two doors? You seen the guy trying to pull them together, right? He's trying to close the doors. He couldn't close them, and he walks away. And then you see the two guys hanging over like this. You see the one guy hanging over like this between the two doors. Just like, come on. I don't know. And then the car lights flash on it, and you see it for a few seconds. I don't know. I mean, who would leave a door ajar? Like, it's not closing. All right, let me just leave it open, and maybe someone will come rob the place later on. I don't care. I'm just gonna grab my luggage or whatever he has and just leave. Like, I don't know. It seems a little bit too convenient for the CCTV to pick that up. That was, mind you, this whole video was about CCTV, so this is all footage caught on security cameras. So I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure security cameras pick up a lot of things, but I don't know. If it was fake, they did a good job. I'm not calling anything. I'm not going to call it fakery in the bakery. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just okay. I'm just going to call it okay. Leave it at that. Continue.
this creepy footage was captured at the police station in Espanola, New Mexico. While Detective Carl Romero was checking the surveillance cameras, he noticed a ghost-like figure moving around the station. The figure even appeared to walk straight through several locked gates without tripping the alarm. When the detective was asked about the incident, he said, "At first I thought it was a fly or a moth, then I saw the legs and it was a human, but not a real human, no, a ghost." It's not
Okay.
the first time strange things have been reported around the station. Several officers said they've had the feeling of someone or something breathing down their necks while working in the briefing room, while others have reported hearing strange noises in the middle of the night. Even though the quality of the footage is poor, you can definitely make out a human-like shape passing through the gate then making its way across the parking lot. The fact too that the footage was captured at a police station makes it unlikely that it's been edited in any way. Have the security cameras at the Espanola police station actually captured proof of a ghost? Let us know what you think in the comments section below.
That's some horrible footage.
As one starts watching this creepy footage, it's tough to decide where to look. The warehouse is cluttered with boxes, but when a strange figure pops its head out from behind the shelf, it's impossible to miss. It shows up about 12 seconds into the footage. The figure seems to have a white face and it looks like it's floating.
Really?
The spooky image moves its torso from out behind the shelf for a second or two before zipping away. The figure is visible in the gap between the black shelves, so viewers will be able to see it moving. When it does dash away, it's impossible to tell where it goes or how it entered the space initially. So what is it up to?
I mean, it kind of
Perhaps the ghostly...
looks like CGI a little bit. Like, it could be rendered. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just like really good CGI because you can kind of see behind the bar right there. Let me see. Let's see if you see his whole body.
The figure is a former worker who still thinks he needs to complete inventory. Some viewers have even suggested that the figure looks like an alien grey.
That's what I thought. They're trying to make it look like an alien.
If so, why would it be lurking in this random warehouse?
It just so happens to peek his head out. I'm pretty sure it's an alien, so it knows the camera is there, right? Because they're like super intelligent, right? And they like to spy on humans. So he purposely sticks his head out in front of CCTV, looks up, looks down. He's looking around like, oh, I'm just chilling, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's a camera right there, even though I'm like the most intelligent species in all of the universe and galaxy. I don't know there's a camera right there. I'm just gonna stick my head out and look around like, oh, what's going on? Oh, okay. All right, let me go hide behind this boxes some more. Like, come on. Fakery.
CCTV security cameras have recently become one of the best ways to capture scary videos. Redditor This Chris Special found this out when watching some footage taken from an outdoor security camera, which shows something highly unusual. The bizarre video begins in a pretty ordinary way. We see a man in a hat standing near a metal gate blocking off part of the roadway. He has a pile of luggage at his feet as if waiting for someone. There are trees all around, but there's nothing natural about what happens next. As the man remains completely still, a black orb begins to move horizontally across the center of the screen. The round object suddenly appears near the middle of the shot. It floats just above one of the metal gates, blocking off the road in an almost straight line until disappearing off screen. It's worth noting that nothing else moves while the black object makes its way across the screen.
No.
Although this particular orb is not the same colour as typical round
It's not an
ghostly
orb.
apparitions, many who have viewed the video are still convinced it's most likely a spirit.
So it seems that people are getting a hold of these security footage, these CCTV footages, and they're editing these footages, like, and trying to, like, basically prove that they're not fake. Like, well, look at this ghost right here. Or look at this orb right here. This chair is moving by itself. Oh, it can't be fake. It's on CCTV. Why would security footage be fake? Bro, all you have to do is have access to the actual footage. Upload it to your phone or put it on a flash drive. Take it home. Put it on your computer. You know what I'm saying? Get your little editing software and then go ahead and add something in it. Look how smooth and straight that is. It's like someone just planted that there and just had to go across the screen. Fakery.
Others theorise that it could be some sort of small UFO. However, some viewers are convinced that the video was faked, pointing to the complete lack of movement in the background throughout the footage.
It's fake. It looked fake. That is editing.
So could this video be a hoax, or did something paranormal cause...
Yo, we gotta find out who these fakeries are. I know we got some chefs up in the bakery right now, but you got chefs up in the security footage trying to prove it's real. Oh, we gotta catch these chefs. They gotta stop baking this fakery. I mean, it's too much. Too much.
a glitch in the film. In 2016, this unsettling image was captured on a motion sensor camera on a rural property somewhere in Virginia. It was posted to Reddit sometime later, where it quickly gained attention from supernatural enthusiasts. The poster claimed that the photo was taken on their friend's property, which has cameras set up all around the house. This was the only photo that shows the ghostly woman. She was not seen coming onto or...
That's not a ghostly woman. That is a woman. And that is night vision on her. That's why she looks like that.
or leaving the property. The poster said that this photo was actually captured during the day. The camera normally photographs in colour, but for some strange reason, this particular photo turned out an eerie shade of grey. While the figure seen in the photo certainly has a ghost-like quality to it,
It's night
possible
vision.
that the image is a result of some sort of camera malfunction.
It's night
Either
vision.
way,
And
it
some
certainly
other
makes
light
for a
sources in the
very creepy
background.
photograph.
That is a woman. Look like she's in underwear.
Dover Castle in Kent, England is reportedly haunted by several ghosts. Workers and security guards often report disembodied screams coming from the castle ramparts. The halls are said to be haunted by a headless drummer boy who was brutally murdered many centuries ago. Here's some footage taken in August 2009 at one of the gates to the castle. Take a look at what happens.
Okay, there's a shadow apparition
Some
there.
kind of dark figure floats across the screen, then disappears. Moments later, a security guard rushes to the scene, but is dumbfounded by the experience. He looks around for several minutes, but finds nothing.
Okay, it's just like that last security guard that came into that little, like, dining area when that guy came. The shadow came through the door, and, like, a light happened, and it disappeared, and it was, like, working in the area, and then, like, the security guard came, and then it was, like, it disappeared. It's, like, the same thing. It's, like, I think they be using the CCTV footage, you know, the security footage to make it, give it more, like, you know, authenticity, I guess? Authenticity? Yeah, okay. Make it seem more authentic. So people can't say, well, this is fake. Oh, no, but this was caught on security footage. Why would it be fake? Come on. It's just editing. That's all it is. The timing is too perfect also.
Did the guard see the same black entity that we saw on camera?
So
Judging by his
where's
body
the guard
language,
shack at?
it
Where's
would
his
appear
booth?
so.
You know what I'm saying? Like, well, how far away is it? You telling me that thing walked across in what? I don't know, 5 seconds it took it to walk across the street? And the security guard was there in 2 seconds. Really?
This next video comes to us from YouTuber Raul Cutwall and features footage taken from a CCTV security camera system placed outside of a hospital. The video shows the outside of the hospital with a sitting area where patients can relax during the day. Although no one's nearby, a wheelchair suddenly starts to move. Initially, it has a slight backwards movement.
Here we go with the
then,
wheels.
after a few seconds, it begins to roll forward.
I'm starting to see a trend amongst this CCTV security footage. They like to use a lot of objects with wheels and have them move by themselves. Because look, right, if it's a person holding a camera and they're looking for ghosts, like the ghost hunters, right? When ghost hunters go out, they can run and move with the camera. They can look up and down, left, right, all that stuff, They can search and see, Whereas like CCTV, it's the perfect setup for you to make something look like it's paranormal, make it look like a ghost. And you can't blame nobody for not moving the camera because why? It's security footage. Why would it move? It just sits and monitors one area. So you can't say it's fake, because of the fact that there's no person behind the camera. It's no person behind the camera, you know. So that they get away with that, and then they get away with the fact that it's security footage. Why would it be fake? And so they get you with that cap up right there, and then it's like, all right, well, and then we'll just hook up some strings and make things move in front of the security footage, and we'll just say it was a ghost. Put a story, make up some phony baloney story behind it, like, oh, Mr. Chapman fell and twisted his ankle and died instantly as soon as he hit the ground, so his ghost lingers around the area now for the last 50 years. Fakery.
Just when you think the wind might be responsible, the wheelchair changes direction on its own and starts moving towards the walkway. It wheels itself down the pathway, even adjusting course when it starts to veer into the grass. The front desk attendant comes out to watch, confused by the situation.
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm
There's
confused.
no clear
I'm
explanation
confused.
for the runaway wheelchair, but perhaps the spirit of a former patient is to blame. One that decided it was finally time to make an escape from the hospital where they lived out their final days.
Yeah, okay, all right. So when someone moves a wheelchair, right? Like they have a brake, right? And like how they actually move the wheels and such like that. So like they have to go, they have to create momentum, right? This thing is just like this. Just straight, smooth. Like, really? That's what made me think it's fake. Because I don't think a ghost is going to be like, let's smoothly roll this out of here. You know what I'm saying? Even people have a little bit of jerk in the way they move a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? It's like something's pulling it or pushing it or maybe being controlled by a remote.
In mid-2013, this bizarre footage was captured by security cameras in Bogota, Colombia. 3 separate CCTV cameras spotted a woman who appears to be dressed in an old maid's outfit wandering down the street. Experts claim that the outfit the woman is wearing was a popular style in the area more than 100 years ago. She walks a few steps, pauses, then walks another few steps and pauses again. Each of the 3 cameras capture her bizarre walking pattern. It's what happens when she reaches the end of the road, however, that will give you chills. 2 of the 3 security cameras capture the woman disappearing into thin air. A local news station in Bogota investigated the area where the footage was taken and even invited a priest to comment on the incident.
Oh, she
They
disappeared in
found
thin
no
air?
plausible reason for the disappearance of the woman. Since the footage was...
They're not trying to say she disappeared, right? Wait, hold on. Okay, this woman literally was walking down the street, and then she just disappeared. Bro, it looked like a cut. It looked like somebody edited the footage and they cut her out and just went back to basically a frozen picture of the street. That's all it was. She didn't like fade away like how they try to make it look like most of the time. So they try to fade away the person to make it look like it was a ghost, or like it shoots up in the air in a beam or something like that. No, it literally just gone. That is the edit.
was released, many have claimed that it has to be a ghost. Others have even gone as far as to say that she may even be a time traveller. What do you think? Ghost, time traveller, or something else entirely?
It's fakery. That's what it is.
Some ghosts just want to have fun and tease the living. In a security video from the Bawtry Hill supermarket in Irvine, Scotland, something seems to move a crate from under a store employee as she's attempting to step up onto it to stock some shelves.
Oh.
Instead of her foot landing on the step, she misses it and falls against a stack of store merchandise.
So what
knocking
happened?
over a few cans on the shelf.
What happened?
A nearby co-worker witnesses the incident and continues stocking shelves. He doesn't even move in to help her.
Hold up. So the dude across the way, who was like on his knee, you telling me that was her co-worker? My man just saw her take a nasty fall and slam into this case of whatever drinks it is, whatever that is. And he just looked at her. He didn't even come over and try to help her up. She over there waiting too patiently, like, give me a hand. He just like, all right. He just got up and stood up. He didn't even come help her. Man, you got some bad co-workers, man.
If you slow the footage down, you can see a clear gap between the employee's shoe and the crate. The crate moves before she steps onto it.
Right, she ain't falling in the crate, did she? Nah, but she slammed into that bin thing there.
According to the shop's owner, the ghost's name is Stacy, and she plays pranks.
Well, I tell you, they got a background story for it and everything. The ghost name is Stacy. Okay, hold on.
On the staff when anyone annoys her. The store shared the footage on Facebook and wrote, "When Elise, our employee, annoys staff."
I think a lot of these owners of these businesses make up these stories of ghosts so they can create propaganda, so they can make more business. Because then people are going to be like, yo, guess what? I heard there's a ghost over there at that Kroger. Oh, really? There's a ghost at the Kroger? Yeah, I heard it's on aisle 5. Oh, no, I heard it'd be in aisle 8. Oh, let's go over there and see if we can find the ghost. And bring all these people, bring all these crowds to this place and start making business. Because while you in there, you could be getting hungry. Like, man, I ain't see Stacy yet. Where goes Stacy at? Well, then that Snickers right there looking good, though. I might have to grab one. Go buy Snickers. You know, matter of fact, while I'm here, why not go do some grocery shopping? People start shopping there. Then everybody coming every week because they trying to see Stacy, but at the same time they buying food. It's a good business ploy.
Stacy, our resident ghost Stacy, moves the crate to teach Elise a lesson. Don't be flirting with her man in the store. The store didn't elaborate on who Elise was flirting with, but Stacy's jealousy should have anyone looking over their shoulder.
They got all this background story about her being jealous. Come on, y'all talking about a ghost. A ghost? They got a fling going on in the supermarket staff talking about the ghost don't like her looking at her man. It's a ghost.
The store confirmed that Elise was okay, with the only damage being a sore ego. She does appear to have been stunned in the recording, and it takes her a few minutes to get back up. Viewers might have to watch the video a few times to see Stacy move the crate. But
they do like the crate move by itself. You can see the crate move by itself. So, but that could be a string, honestly. That could be a string that pulled the crate, and maybe she didn't know what was going on. Maybe she wasn't in on it. Elise, the girl Elise right here, she probably wasn't in on it, and everybody else was. So they're like, yeah, she like to stand on crates when she like to stack the shelves. So hook a string up to one of the crates, right, okay, and then like when she tried to step on it, pull it till she fall, right, and then make it seem like something pulled the crate, and then we're gonna upload the footage to YouTube and try and make it go viral. I don't know.
Push.
Look at that.
Love to get your thoughts on this fascinating piece of footage in the comment section below.
Look, and he didn't even come over and help her. Look, it was almost like it was staged. He just looked at her like, looks like our plan went along as proceeded. Like, yeah, it went along as planned. Yeah, she fell. That's exactly what we needed. Bro, why you ain't over there like, oh my God, oh, you okay? Here, let me help you up. He just looked at her and smiled. It was all part of the plan. Maybe she wasn't in on it. Maybe she didn't know. So it could seem real. Her reaction. I don't know. Just because of the coworker, I'm going to call it fakery.
Another iteration of odd ghost footage, this security footage seems to depict a man being followed by a creepy ghost. As seen in the footage, the man walks outside from one point to another. However, immediately trailing behind him is an oddly distorted figure. The figure is just visible enough to be noticeable when picked up on the dark camera. And if you look closely, you can actually see directly through the object. It almost looks like a hunched over person.
Yeah, but this footage is kind of potato though.
Whatever the Spectre's intentions, it's clear that it's keen on following the man in question, and quite closely too.
All they need is some meat.
Experts have analysed the footage and so far have come...
I mean, that footage got plenty of potato. Plenty of potato. They just need some meat. That's all they need. Because I don't know if it's an overlay, because they could overlay the image and put another image there and just like take out the occupancy to make it look like it's lighter than the background. And I don't know. Let's see.
Come up with very little comforting conclusions. Some say it could just be an artifact pixel cluster, an occurrence that can sometimes happen with security footage. This is when old footage overlays on new footage and creates distorted figures.
That's what I was saying. It could be an overlay. That's what I'm saying. It could be something on top of another footage, you know, and just and with since it's potato, it's a potato footage, so you can't really call it nay or yay. You know what I'm saying? It's like maybe, maybe not. The world will may never know. I mean, except for the person that fakery and sat there in the bakery and just whipped it all up and put it on the internet for views. Who knows?
Believe that the eerie figure really is trailing behind the man. Love to get your thoughts on this one in the comments section below.
Yeah, I don't know.
Uploaded to Tommy T Lag's YouTube channel in 2008, this creepy footage is sure to keep you awake at night. The uploader claims that their friend had been hearing strange noises in her bedroom, so she decided to set up a camera to see what was happening. This is what the camera captured. The video shows the woman lying in bed when something can be seen moving to the left of screen. Whatever it is, it appears to start tugging at the blankets. Then the thing seems to jump onto the bed. As it climbs off, the woman is seen stirring but doesn't seem to notice.
What is that?
Some have suggested that it might actually be the hand of something that's reaching out, almost as though it's trying to stroke the woman's hair. The uploader claims that the woman was awake the whole time and didn't feel a thing. What could this chilling creature actually be? Whatever it is, it's certainly the stuff of nightmares.
Oh, what
could it be an alien or some sort of ghost? Or is it an intruder?
Why was it trying to jump up on the bed? It looked like a
Love
dog.
to get your opinion on this one in the
looks like a
comments
dog.
section below.
Why would he be doing that? I don't know. It looked like a dog.
If you want to see some more freaky security footage, then check out that link on the top there.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's a scary playlist right there. You can
All right, guys, check out Slapped Ham. Slapped Ham is awesome. He's cool. He got a lot of good videos.
And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.
Awesome. All right, yeah. So that's Slapped Ham. Right? Check out his YouTube channel. He got a bunch of paranormal activity stuff and you know, unexplained mysteries and stuff like that. He's cool. But I don't know about these videos. These videos are kind of weird. I mean, the fact that, you know, they had a lot of dolls and a lot of fakery going on. You know, I'm just going to call it fakery. And that's mainly because of the fact that, you know, with CCTV, you got to expect, you know, people getting these security footage, access to the security footage. And most of the time it is security. You know, they'll go ahead and get footage from their job or their site or whatever like that. And they'll just, you know, they know the system well enough to where they can just bring a flash drive to work, copy it, take it home, and then play around with it on the editing system. Because, you know, security ain't got nothing else better to do. You know what I'm saying? So they play on computers all day long. You know what I'm saying? They damn near on IT security levels. Shit, half of them are IT security. You know what I'm saying? So they sit there and play on that stuff all day long. They know this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going to take this footage right here. I'm going to edit it up a little bit and make it look like it's something happening. I'm going to play something right here in the video, and it's a ghost. And I'm going to call it this and that. Throw it out there on YouTube. Throw it out there and stream it. You know what I'm saying? Put it on Twitch. You know what I'm saying? Put it on all these social media platforms and Instagram. You know what I'm saying? See how people take it. Matter of fact, I want to make a TikTok. Let me put it on TikTok. Tickety-tock. Tickety-tock. Fakery. that probably had to be one of the fakest videos I've ever seen when it comes to paranormal. I expected better from CCTV footage, but it seems like that's not where you want to go if you want to see ghosts, because that footage gets played around with a whole lot, and I see that now. All right, so I got another one. For you guys. Like, we're going overtime today. Okay, all right, we're gonna do over an hour this time, because I said I had two artists. I had Slapped Ham, we just lost him. He just went off. So now we're gonna go with a guy that's really incredible. He served in the Navy SEALs, and now he makes YouTube videos nowadays. Yeah, he has some incredible stories. He's a book writer and such like that. Anyway, his name is MrBallen. I'm gonna bring him up right now. All right, let's get this guy. Up here and rolling. MrBallen. Here we go. Okay.
Every year, hundreds of people go missing under baffling conditions in the woods of North America. I'm talking about people being right in front of their friends or their loved ones, and then in an instant they're just gone, and they're never found again. Or they are found again, but they're found in places that are seemingly impossible to get to. One former police detective named David Paulides has written a book series called Missing 411, where he investigates these incredibly strange cases. Today, we're going to look at 3 missing 411 cases that, even amongst strange disappearances, these rank as particularly bizarre. But before we get into today's stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right channel, because that's all we do, and we upload 3, 4, even 5 times every week. So if that's of interest to you, please replace the like button's 2021 calendar with a 2020 calendar that has a 1 glued over the 0. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Alright, let's get into today's stories.
MrBallen! Let's go. Devil's Den.
On June 16, 1946, 5 members of the Van Ulst family arrived at the Devil's Den State Park in western Arkansas to spend a week in a cabin they had rented. After getting unpacked, the father, along with his daughter, who was 8 years old, named Catherine, and her 2 older brothers, they headed down to the swimming area, which was this creek that led up to the side of a dam. Once they arrived at the creek, Catherine and her 2 brothers jumped in the water and started goofing around, and there were some other kids there they were playing with as well, and their father just sat on the edge to watch. Now, this swimming area had one really deep section that was right up against the dam wall that you were allowed to swim in, but the kids that were not strong swimmers tended to stay away from, and Catherine was not a great swimmer, and at one point she kind of drifted into the deep section, and her father didn't notice, and her 2 brothers didn't notice, but a woman who was staying at the campground, who the Van Ulst family didn't know, happened to be standing next to the edge of the water and saw Catherine struggling, and so she reached in and pulled her out, and Catherine was fine, and the woman told her, you gotta be more careful, you shouldn't be swimming in the deep end if you're not a strong swimmer, and Catherine said, okay. And so as they're talking, Catherine's father hears them and looks over and sees his daughter talking to some stranger, and so he makes a sound and waves in their direction to get this woman's attention, to be like, hey, you know, what are you doing talking to my daughter? And the woman, she sees this, and she must have been a mother herself, because she picked up on his uncomfortability, and so she turns to him and says, oh, no, everything is totally fine, I was just helping your daughter get out, everything is totally fine. And so Catherine's father turns to his daughter and says, hey, you gotta be more careful, don't go in the deep end, and Catherine's like, okay, and instead of going back into the water, Catherine walks to the backside of the dam, because this dam, it was not a steep drop-off on the outflow side, it was like a gradual slope of these big boulders that the kids at this campground would climb all over, and their parents would watch them from their positions next to the swimming area. And so Catherine's father was watching his 2 sons, and then he'd look over and watch Catherine, and back and forth, he kept his eye on all of his kids. But at some point, when he was looking at his sons, he looked back at Catherine, and she was gone. And so he stood up and he walked over, thinking maybe she's gone all the way to the bottom and she's just out of sight because she's crouched down or something. But when he got to the edge and looked down, she wasn't down there. And so he's looking all around and he's thinking to himself, this isn't possible. I just saw her on the rocks like seconds ago. Where could she have gone? And so he looks at his sons, who are still in the swimming area, and he says, hey, have you seen Catherine? And they're like, no, we haven't seen her. And then he turns to the woman that had previously pulled Catherine out of the water, and he says, have you seen my daughter? And she said, no, the last I saw her, she was on the rocks. I don't know where she went. And so before long, Catherine's father is screaming for Catherine. He's enlisted the help of everybody at this campground that's in the vicinity to go look for his daughter.
Hey, for some reason, this story reminds me of a movie I once saw back in the day. It was called oh man, I remember the actor. The actor was Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise was the actor. It was a really good movie. Minority Report. Tom Cruise played in a movie called Minority Report. If you've never seen this movie, it was ahead of its time. That movie was awesome. But anyway, the story of the movie kind of starts out like this. He's like, Tom Cruise is with his son. His son's playing in the swimming pool with all the other kids and everything like that. And he turns his head for 1 second. He turns back and his son is gone. And he never saw his son again. So it was like, this is kind of reminding me of that, this whole situation. This is based on a true story that MrBallen is telling us. So, yeah.
Water, there are people jumping into the swimming area up top. There are people jumping into the swimming area on the backside of the dam. I mean, the whole area is getting searched, and there's no sign of this girl. And after about an hour of looking, Catherine's father went and got police. After 2 days of searching the very thick forest that surrounded this dam and finding no trace of Catherine, authorities decided it was far more likely she had drowned either above or below the dam than it was that she wandered off into the woods, considering where she was last seen. And so they shifted focus and began draining these two sections of water to see if her body would be at the bottom. But when they were drained, she wasn't there. And so once again, they went back to searching the forest. And so on June 22nd, 6 days after Catherine went missing, a group of searchers were located 7 miles way into the forest. They were walking up this mountain and they're yelling Catherine's name. And as they're walking, they stop when this little girl wearing only a bathing suit walks out of a cave, looks down at them and just says, "Here I am." The searchers couldn't believe it. It was Catherine. And besides some scratches on her arms and some bug bites, she seemed like she was perfectly fine. In fact, they would say she was eerily calm. It was like she was waking up from a dream.
Hold up. Wait. Hold on. You telling me this girl went missing and no one saw this girl leave? Okay? The swimming area. Okay. You telling me 6 days later, a group of searchers found her 7 miles from the swimming area, still wearing a bathing suit with just a few scratches on her arm? Like, how did she survive for 6 days without food, without water, unless she got some, like, inherent, like, incredible survival skills, Like, she must have been, like, the leader of, like, the Boy Scout girls or Girl Scouts or something like that. I don't know. I mean, like, 6 days, 7 miles? Like, bro, 7 miles is hard for an adult to travel. Like, just let alone 6 days without eating or drinking. I don't know. I sense a lot of suspicious activity. Let's see what she said. Maybe she said something.
She was reunited with her family, who could not believe she was still alive. They brought her to the hospital, and the doctors looked at her and...
Is it just me? Or does the little girl have, like, an adult face on a little girl body? I don't know. It looked like that's an adult face on a little girl's body. Okay. All right.
Said, yep, besides some superficial cuts and some bug bites, she's fine, and 2 days later she was discharged. So this 8-year-old, who's never spent any time in the woods before, this is her first exposure, her trip to Devil's Den State Park, survives on her own, out in the wild, for 6 days and 6 nights with only a bathing suit on. And despite there being no potable water anywhere near her where she was found up on that mountain,
right,
she was determined to be relatively well hydrated and had only lost a couple of pounds. Also, you need to understand the staggering distance she covered.
Right.
Because while she was found 7 miles away from where she went missing, that's as the crow flies. That's what you see on a map, those 7 miles. In the wild, you don't walk perfectly straight lines. There's too many obstructions, there's mountains, there's trees, there's all sorts of reasons that you end up zigging and zagging to wherever you're going. And so rescuers believe the minimum real distance she would have covered to get up to that cave was about 30 miles. And she did it barefoot. Catherine defied every search and rescue model for 8-year-olds that get lost in the wild. She was way outside the boundaries of what anybody would expect. Basically...
Okay, so, first off, alright, this I won't call this paranormal. This is more along the lines of, like, Bigfoot at this point. We're getting into, like, aliens right now. This is not, I don't think ghosts can do this. So, I don't want to say Bigfoot. I mean, if Bigfoot exists, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of people still saying that Sasquatch exists. I have no idea, but for an 8-year-old to cover 7 miles, let alone survive for 6 days and be in good healthy condition, except for a few pounds that she lost, that's awkward. That's weird. That's weird.
she should have died. When authorities asked her, how did you do this? She said, I don't know. I don't remember how I got lost in the first place. I only remember sleeping on warm grass the first night, and then her next memory is waking up inside of a cave on day 6. She has no idea what happened between day 1 and day 6, when she traveled those 30 miles and somehow subsisted on some water source and some food source. While some say this is just a really weird case where she got very, very lucky, others think there was something in the forest that chased her, and adrenaline kicked in, forcing her to run the 30 miles to that cave, and because it was so traumatic, she forgot the experience. But like virtually all of the missing 411 stories, we have a lot more questions than answers.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know. If something chased her, like, to make her run to a cave 7 miles away because she was so scared, and maybe, her mind, like, blocked that out so she doesn't remember it. I mean, it doesn't explain how she survived without food and water, though. Unless she slept. Like, she, like, hibernated for, like, the whole, like 5 days. And she was up the first day and, like, hibernated the rest of the 5 days. Maybe. Because humans, we have a similar thing, too, where we can sleep and we can, like, live longer, like, rather than us being awake and, like, our metabolism pumping and we want to eat, that's different. So maybe she could have just slept all the way through that. I doubt it. 5 days? That's a very odd story right there. I don't know. It's based on a true story too. So I don't know. I can't call it fakery because it's in the police reports. So
on April 29th, 2001, 6-year-old Haley Zega was on a hike with her grandparents in a very rural part of Arkansas called the Upper Buffalo Wilderness Area. For an area to be deemed a wilderness area, that means no vehicles of any kind can come through there, making it incredibly remote and incredibly wild, hence the name. They had taken this trail that brought them up to the top of this bluff that was about 200 feet higher than where they started, and they got to this incredible overlook, and they're looking down over this river, and at some point at about 11 in the morning, they turn around to head back. On the return trip, by about 11:30, they're making their way down, and Haley spots a waterfall that's off the side of the path, and she wants to go to it. She asks her grandparents, can we go check out this waterfall? And the grandparents kind of scope it out, and it seemed like the only way they could get down to view this waterfall would be by literally climbing a tree and descending over this cliff, and it was something that the grandparents just did not feel comfortable letting their granddaughter do, and so they told Haley, no, we need to keep going, we're not going to go check out that waterfall. And Haley, being a 6-year-old, she really wanted to see this waterfall. And
she was energetic 6-year-old.
So she threw a tantrum. And she sat down on the trail and she said, well, if you're not going to take me to the waterfall, I'm not going to move. You're going to have to carry me. And the grandparents were like, no, we're not going to carry you. You need to be a big girl. I need you to stand up and start walking with us. And Haley refused. And so her grandparents said, okay, we're going to leave you. And they turned around and they kept walking down the trail. Not far, and they were still totally in view, and it's broad daylight. And they would turn around expecting their granddaughter to stand up and kind of begrudgingly walk after them. And at some point she did. Haley stood up and she's like, okay, wait for me. And so she starts walking, and the grandparents are like, all right. And so they're walking ahead of Haley. And as they're walking, Haley would just slow down more and more and more, and her grandparents could tell she was doing this. She was just trying to be frustrating, and she was intentionally trying to take as long as she could. But the grandparents made sure they kept her in their view. So they would walk a little ways and turn, and she'd be right there. They'd walk a little ways, they'd turn, and she'd be right there over and over again. And then at some point when they turned, she wasn't there. And so the grandparents immediately run back up, and they're looking around for Haley, thinking she probably darted behind a tree to hide because she wants, to be a little bit more frustrating for them. And so they're kind of looking for her. They're not that worried yet. They start yelling for her, saying, come on, we do got to leave. You got to come out. We got to go. But there was no word from Haley. It was just silence, and she was just totally gone. And
could you imagine how the parents must feel? Like, hey, mom, hey, dad, where's Haley? And the grandparents are like, we kind of left her in the woods. Can you imagine the expression on the parents' face, like, are you fucking serious? You got a kid in the woods? That's crazy. Man, that's got to be like a real like downer for like the grandparents to have that weight on their shoulders. Like, we lost our granddaughter because we left her. Like, oh my God, we left her in the woods. That's something to have when you're heavy on your shoulders right there, and then have your kids, the parents of the daughter, the way they look at oh my God, that must have been hard on the grandparents, man. The grandparents must have felt bad. Oh my God.
For the next 90 minutes, the grandparents just ran all up and down this trail screaming for Haley, and they never found her, and so they ran down and they called police. The largest search and rescue mission in the history of Arkansas was launched for Haley Zega. It included hundreds of searchers on the ground, including 8 dog teams and helicopters overhead. There were firefighters, the National Guard was involved. But after 2 days, despite this incredible search, really no progress had been made. The only thing that had been found was one of the dog teams had tracked her scent up to a nearby road where the dog stopped, meaning the scent is now gone. And unfortunately, what that told investigators is it looks like Haley got picked up by some motorist. But 51 hours into the ordeal, there were 2 searchers well outside of the primary search area. They were about 2 miles away from where she'd gone missing. They spotted her. She was sitting next to this brook with her feet dangling in the water, and when she saw them, she kind of waved, and they said, "Are you Haley Zega?" And she said, "Yeah." And she had a couple of scratches on her arm and on her face, but overall she seemed okay. And so Haley was reunited with her family, and then she was brought to the hospital to be observed. After Haley had regained some of her strength, investigators asked her, what happened? And she said that she was walking behind her grandparents and that she looked down. And then when she looked up again, not only were her grandparents gone, but she was looking at this wall of trees. Like she was not on the trail anymore. She didn't know where she was. And since she was only 6 years old, she didn't stop and look around or yell. Instead, she just kept walking in this direction that she didn't recognize. And she walked and walked and walked, and she never found the trail again. She said pretty soon it got dark and she slept on top of that bluff. And then the next day when the sun came up, she walked down the bluff and she made it to the river. And then she walked along the river until she found a cave where she slept for the second night. And then the next day when she got up, she was found. After she gave...
Hold up. This is the second story where a little girl was found in a cave. Wait, do these like little girls just have natural instinct to like, hold on, let me go find a cave, and let me sleep there for the night? Like it's naturally instinct. Like I mean, like the first one was 8 years old, this one's 6 years old. They obviously don't have no like survival like skills they were taught, so this has to be instincts. They're like, okay, let me find a cave and sleep in there for the night. Wow.
Gave this explanation.
Wait. Or maybe it's not them that's going to the cave. Maybe something else lives in the cave. They should do a forensic test on those caves. It might find something in there that's not human.
Investigators had a lot of questions, like, if you were sleeping up on the bluff on that first night, then why couldn't the helicopter see you? Because that's all they were doing, was flying over the bluff, and they had thermal imaging. They could have very easily picked you up. And so they asked her, are you sure that's where you were? And she said, yeah, that's where Alicia told me to stay. And they were like, who's Alicia? And she said, oh, she's my imaginary friend. I met her on the bluff. And so immediately the investigators and the parents are like, okay, she's clearly coping with this traumatic event by creating this imaginary friend. And so they don't ask any more questions about the imaginary friend. Instead, they continue to ask questions about basically how she got from where she was lost to where she was found. And they say, okay, Haley, how did you get down the bluffs? Because there's only one way down, and it can be hard to find, especially if you're off the trail. And Haley said, well, Alicia brought me to a trail, and she led me down the bluffs. And she stood in front of me and made sure that I didn't fall forward. And so her parents and the investigators are now starting to think, maybe this isn't an imaginary friend.
Well, so was it like a guardian angel of some sort for Haley? Is Alicia a person? This little girl like her? I don't know.
If this person is right in front of her kind of propping her up. And so they asked Haley, can you describe what Alicia looks like? And Haley said, sure. She has black hair, brown eyes, she's a little bit shorter than me, she's 4 years old, she likes to tell jokes, and she likes to sing songs. And then Haley began singing songs that she had learned from Alicia and began telling jokes she had learned from Alicia. Even though Haley was giving this vivid description of this 4-year-old girl named Alicia running around the bluffs, it just couldn't be possible. And so Haley's parents and the investigators went back to treating Alicia as just an imaginary friend, just a simple coping mechanism. And so the investigators went back to just doing their interview with Haley. They got all the information about how she got from the bluffs down to the river as much as they could. And then because Haley was fine, they said, okay, you're good, see you later. Now, Haley's case was a really big deal. And it was...
Okay, wait a minute. So this is an actual photo of Haley right there. They're like so happy they got her back. I guess that's her mom right there on the right side. And her dad's standing behind right there with the blue shirt. Wow. Okay.
was all over the news, especially after she was found. And so her interview where she said this imaginary friend named Alicia had assisted her in getting down the bluffs and had basically taken care of her, that was put in print. And after it was published, there were some readers that realized there was another little girl who had gone missing in the exact same spot as Haley 23 years earlier.
What?
She was 4 years old, she had black hair, brown eyes, her name was Alana, and she had died on those bluffs. After this connection was made, it got national media attention because suddenly news outlets were saying this imaginary friend was actually Alana and that she was Haley's guardian angel. In fact,
What?
Haley
just
was
said
brought
that.
on Dateline to talk about her imaginary friend. This year, Haley, who's now 25 years old, posted a video to her YouTube channel where she tells her story of what happened over those 51 hours she was gone. And in the story, she talks about her imaginary friend. And she says, you know, before Alicia, I never had an imaginary friend, and afterwards, I never had an imaginary friend. But at the time, Alicia was very real to me, and I don't know who or what she was, but she saved my life.
Bro, that's crazy. Can you imagine? What the? They say kids can see spirits. They say children can see spirits. But I mean, like, actually, like, talking to one, joking with one. Like, I mean, imaginary friends and all such like that. But that's crazy. Like, this 4-year-old girl literally, like, led this girl to, like, safety. And then they said 23 years earlier, a girl just like her description died on the bluffs. That's insane. That's creepy at the same time. But I'm not calling fakery. It was in the police reports. It was in the news. That was real. That actually happened. That's crazy.
In September of 2012, 53-year-old Linda Ortega went to visit her brother, Eddie Huff, in St. Joe, Arkansas. St. Joe is a very rural part of Arkansas, and it's about a mile away from the Buffalo River National Park. The park is thickly forested and mountainous, and there's hundreds of small water bodies that are strewn throughout. On Saturday, September 22nd, Linda and Eddie decided to go for a walk in the park because Eddie apparently had heard of some great fishing spot, and he wanted to go find it. In searching for the spot, they stepped off of the trail and got turned around. Now, they realized they got turned around, but it's broad daylight, and they figured, okay, we'll find the trail soon. But as the sun was setting, they had still not found the trail, and they realized they were badly lost. Then some very strange things happened that we only have a marginal understanding of. What we know is the brother and sister were together on that first day they went missing. We know they were together the following day on Sunday, still looking around for a way out of the park, but still at the end of the day were lost. Then the next day, on Monday, we know the pair separated because Eddie re-emerged out of the park, hopped in his car like nothing was going on, drove back to his house, walked inside, and his family's like, where have you been? You've been missing. We've been calling you. Where have you been? And where's Linda? And he's like, oh, everything's fine. I dropped Linda off at a relative's house. She's fine too. And his family's looking at him like, do you not understand that you've been missing for like 3 days here? And he was just trying to tell them that everything was fine. But as they asked him more questions about specifically, what were you doing? Specifically, how did...
Okay, that's weird. Hold on. So they went missing for 3 days. They got lost in the woods. He comes back by himself, and I guess his girl is not with him, or whatever the case may be, or is like... So this girl just, like, what, vanished and you just came home like nothing happened? What? Okay.
Did you get lost? Specifically, what time did you drop Linda off? Tell us all the details. As they did that, Eddie started to realize that, oh my goodness, I actually don't know what happened. And so his family called this relative that Eddie had claimed he dropped Linda off at. And when the relative picked up, they said, no, we don't have Linda here. I've not spoken to Eddie and I've not spoken to Linda. And so
Men in Black. Yeah, it was the Men in Black.
the family turns back to Eddie and they're like, where's Linda? And Eddie just said, I have no idea. And so the family contacts police and a search is launched for Linda. And they look all over this park for days and days and there's no sign of Linda. And people are starting to get really worried about her. And then on Thursday, so 3 days after Eddie had reemerged from the park and 5 days after they had originally gone missing, some searchers that were on ATVs were about 2 miles away from the entrance of the park in this very thick area. And they found Linda and she was alive. And initially, just like her brother Eddie, she really had no idea what was...
Okay, so that was her brother. Okay, so... Alright, so they found her alive, but he made it home? Oh no, this is weird.
going on. She said she didn't understand how she got where she was, and she was just really confused. And so they brought her back to the hospital, and they put her under doctor's care, and she ended up being fine. But as she's laying in the hospital, she starts kind of coming to, and her memories start flooding back. And she tells this story of what happened to her, and it's unbelievable. She said she and Eddie went into the park to find that fishing spot, and at some point they stepped off the trail thinking they were going to find it, but they didn't. They got turned around, they were lost, and they were confident they were going to find the trail and get out the same day, but they didn't. And so the sun went down, and they were forced to sleep out in the wild. And so the next morning they get up and they continue to look around. They're yelling for help, and there's no one around. They're in this very dense part of the forest, and all day, again, they're looking for this trail and they don't find it. And so that night, again, they sleep out in the wild. Linda said her memory, starting with the next day, which was Monday, started to get really foggy. She said she woke up, and for some reason, she just got up and started running into the woods. She thinks it's because she thought Eddie was hurt and she was running to get help. And so it must have been around this time that Eddie, in his dazed state, got up and meandered his way successfully out of the park. Meanwhile, Linda said she was just running like a maniac into the middle of the woods, screaming for help from someone, even though she's in the middle of nowhere. And then miraculously, she says she saw a group of people way off in the distance. It looked like a group of hikers. And she started yelling for them and waving to them and trying to get their attention. And she said they all stopped and turned to look at her, but they didn't show any sign that they had actually heard her. They were not trying to interact with her. They were just looking at her. Linda said she thought that was pretty odd, but she just kept on running towards them and screaming and yelling and trying to get their attention. And she said when she got about 100 meters away from them, instead of them reciprocating waves or making a sound, they all ducked behind trees like they were trying to hide from Linda. Linda said this was the first time she felt really unsettled by what was...
I don't know about you, but this sounds like a satanic cult. In the middle of the woods, people, they saw her. It looked like maybe they had them sedated, and maybe she somehow overcame the sedation. And when they saw that, maybe it freaked them out because they're used to, like, whenever they catch their victims to be, like, passed out the whole time, you know, or in some, like, euphoric state, you know? Like, I don't know. I mean, but group of people, middle of the woods, talking, not shocked that a person is coming at them waving. Yeah, probably a satanic cult.
Was happening, but she was desperate. She needed help, and so she just kept walking towards them, and she got to about 50 meters away when they all poked their heads out and looked out at her and then poked their heads back. Like, they were not trying to interact with her. And Linda said she felt really scared and stopped and began backpedaling away from this weird group of people that are hiding behind trees. And so while keeping her eyes on the general area where she knew they were hiding, she backpedaled all the way back to about 100 to maybe 150 meters away again, and this group came out from behind the trees and continued to stare at Linda. Linda said at this point she was terrified. She didn't know who or what those things were, but they were not there to help her. And then she said her memory got really foggy because all of a sudden her next memory is her laying on the ground in this pitch black forest. Her brother's not near her, and she's hearing footsteps, and she believes it's this group of people or things that are walking towards her, but it's so dark she can't see anything. And she said all night she heard the sounds of these people or things walking around the perimeter of where she was laying, totally exposed in the middle of the forest. Linda said her memories from this point until she was rescued are all mixed together, but she said she had one memory that really stood out to her because it was so terrifying. She said on one of the last mornings she was out there, she woke up, she was laying on the ground, she opens her eyes, and it was still dark, but the sun was starting to come up. And so there was enough light that she could begin to make out the layout of the forest. And so she sat up and immediately got the sense that she was being watched, but she didn't know by who or from where it was coming. She just had this intuitive sense that she was being watched. And as she's feeling this way, she hears movement coming off to her right, and she turns, and standing next to a tree about maybe 20 meters away is this dark silhouette of a man who's just staring at her. He's got no features. He's just this shadowy figure. And so she's horrified, and then she realizes there's another one, and she looks at that one and realizes there's another one, and another one, and another one. They're all around her. They're all around her looking in, these dark, shadowy figures, and she's...
This is what I'm telling you. This is like what I saw when I used to cut through the woods. These things like stay in the woods. It was like a featureless, all black figure just standing in the middle of a field. And I was coming up over a hill. And I think it seemed like it was shocked that I came up over a hill at 3 o'clock in the morning, like it wasn't used to people being on that bike trail in the middle of the woods at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I did it for years. I cut through the woods all the time. You know, I got used to being in the woods. I used to cut through the woods with my mountain bike like it was nothing. I knew I could do it in the pitch blackness. That's how well I knew the bike trail, because I did it for so long, back and forth from home to work, and I had a lot of different jobs in different cities. So I learned the wooded areas in Virginia very well. You know, I can literally make it through the woods with no light. That's how well I know the areas. And I saw something like what she described. She described it was a featureless, all black figure, and the way it moved, I'm telling you, it was not human. Continue.
She's so scared, and as she's looking around at all of them, it seems like they registered that she sees them. And at that point, they all turned and start running into the forest in all different directions.
What I just say? What I just said? You see that, right? I'm telling you, that's exactly what I saw.
After that,
the government is not telling us something. I'm telling you.
She has no idea the sequence of events or what happened. All she knows is that the whole time she was out there, she was scared. She felt like there were people watching her in the woods. And then at some point, rescuers showed up and she was saved. Linda's totally crazy account of what happened, combined with Eddie's bizarre behavior, totally baffled investigators. They really didn't know what to make of this. How did Eddie find his way out again? And why did he think Linda was at a relative's house? And who were the people Linda was seeing? And why can't either of them remember 90% of the experience? One theory is they must have eaten berries or some other food item that had hallucinogenic properties, and they were literally just hallucinating the whole time. However, if you follow along with David Paulides' missing 411 phenomenon, or if you watch some of the videos on this channel about the missing 411, then you know there are lots of other examples of people that go missing in the woods of North America that never ingest any food or any liquid, so there's no hallucinogen in their system, and they still have similar experiences to what Linda and Eddie did. So how do you explain that? So that's going to do it, guys. If you found the secret in today's episode, let us know in the comments what it is and where you found it. So give us the timestamp. And if you're the first to do that, we'll pin you at the top of the comments section. If you enjoyed today's video and you haven't done this already, please replace the Like Button's 2021 calendar with a 2020 calendar that has a 1 glued over the 0. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly 3, 4, even 5 video uploads. If you want to get in touch with me, you can direct message me on Instagram or on Twitter. My username for both platforms is the same. It's JohnBallen416. I also have a ton of content over on TikTok where my username is MrBallen. If you have a story suggestion, please submit it to our subreddit just called MrBallen. It's linked in the description below. So whether I see you on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, or some combination, just know that I really appreciate your support. And until next time, that's going to do it. See ya.
All right, guys. That was a good one. That definitely was a good one. I gotta say, I mean, Mr. Ballen always come through with the good stories, man, and a lot of his stories be 100% true, you know, or at least documented by law enforcement. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, the first two was kind of weird with the girls being found in caves. I mean, I was thinking like Bigfoot in the back of my head, but that last story, man, oh man, that was he saved the best for last. That was a good one. I mean, between the brother and sister being lost for 3 days. And shadowy figures, bro. Oh my God, I can feel that. I understand that right there. I've seen something like that, like exactly what she was explaining. And it's crazy how we got the similar story, you know. And it was in the woods. We both was in the woods. We saw the same similar features, you know, like creature or whatever it was. But she saw multiple of them. I only saw one, and he was like featureless. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whoa, it was like all black. You know, no face, nothing. Just to make out of a human. You know, it was like. Bro, oh man, that's is crazy what we don't know about this world, man. There's so much stuff in this world that we don't even understand yet. But yeah, okay. All right, guys, that's it. That's it for episode 2 of Boss Reactions. Thanks for joining me here. I thought it was a good one. I like this one a lot. I wasn't a big fan of the CCTV footage that was shown, the security footage they were showing. It came to make me realize that a lot of CCTV footage is being used for paranormal activity, when in reality those cameras are stationary. So if they're stationary, it's like no one's behind that camera. So anyone can go in front of that camera and set up a stage and make it look like something's happening, and then just say whatever they want to say, and make it look believable. Like, oh yeah, here, look, a chair moved by itself. Oh, a flash of light. Oh, that's a ghost. Yep, it's not. You know, it's just fakery. You know, so yeah, I think I'll take into account people holding cameras more authentic than actually looking at security footage. You know, because security footage, like I said, it can be uploaded to a flash drive. It can be taken home. and you know, whoever has the hold of the footage, they can manipulate it. You know, so yeah. Um, the last couple stories by or few stories by MrBallen at the end was good. I like the very last one between the brother and the sister. Um, how they basically were like lost in the woods for 3 days, and then the sister ended up like running away, and then like she found like this cult of people like talking, and then like she saw a bunch of like, you know, faceless featureless people, all black and everything like that from head to toe, which kind of sounds similar to the story I was mentioning about what happened to me when I was riding my bike through the woods and I saw a similar creature, and it ran at like incredible speeds, and it was crazy. So um yeah, but that was cool. That was that we ended it off with a really good story by MrBallen as usual. So yeah, so yeah, I liked it. It was cool. Okay, now on the merch. Okay, so if you guys want like, you know, a t-shirt, you know, if you want like, you know, hat, you know, get a boss hat, you know, go ahead and just look at the about section on the YouTube channel, and go ahead and contact the email, send me a message. I can get that for you. If you want to contact the phone number, you can do that as well. You can text as well too. Uh, and if you have any ideas for videos you want me to do in the future, you can also send those to the email as well too in the about section. All right. And for donations, I have a cash app set up. It's called the money sign, you know, BoSSReactZ. Okay, and that's with a Z. It ends with a Z. BoSSReactZ, and that's also in the description below. So all that donation energy you got, you know, just go ahead and send it over right here to my boy Son Goku. You know, he trying to get his Genki Dama over 100,000. You know. He's trying to defeat Frieza. So we got to help my man save the world. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Okay? And we're going to help out your favorite Saiyan right here. You know, get him to go 100,000 subscribers. You know, go ahead and sub. You know, and I'm going to bring at least 2 to 3 videos a week for everything awesome, paranormal, and mystery. All right? So as always, boss up.